Hey everybody, how you doing? My name is Joseph Cervantes with Your Cup of Joe, and today I have two special guests with me. They are...
My name is Carter Cervantes.
Hi, my name is Joseph Cervantes.
And today we're going to be talking to you a little bit about some of the things that I teach that are helping these guys out. We'll be right back in a second. Hey, welcome back. Okay, so today I wanted to bring Joseph and Carter on the video because I thought it would be very inspirational and also very purposeful for some of the parents that are out there, whether it's you're a new parent or if you're a parent with kids that are their age. Joseph is going to be turning 11 here in September of 2015, and Carter just turned 9 in June of 2015. And so you can see that their age range is right about the time where they're going to start being little punks and start giving me and their mom problems. But also it's a good age because they've already started to develop some of their own characteristics and kind of their own personalities. And you may notice that they both have long hair. What do you guys think about having long hair?
Well,
I like it because I don't have to put sunscreen in my hair.
That's pretty cool.
like long hair, I grew it long because I wanted to be like my brother when I was little.
Yeah.
Like I want to be left out, even though you had short hair.
Right.
I wanted to have long hair, but then now I can't decide whether to cut it short or whether to keep it long.
Oh, okay. And what do I always tell you guys when it comes to picking out how you want to style your hair or whatever clothes that you want to wear? What do I tell you guys?
That you choose the way you want to look and that nobody else can change it.
Right. And how important do you think that is for you to be able to make those choices?
It can, like when you become older and then you live alone, those choices you have no one to help you with.
Right.
So then you have to think of the choices yourself.
Got it. Okay, so personal choice is one of the things that I give to these two because I think it's very important that from a young age, and I mean they're not, obviously they're not young, but even from the age that they started to develop their own personalities, I gave them that opportunity, and I told their mother that I thought it was very important that they had that, just because of the fact that as they did get older, it was going to be important for them to be able to make those decisions on their own. So yes, personal choice with the kids, that's a very big thing for me, very big topic. People always come and tell us, hey, why don't you cut your hair, right? And what do I always tell them?
We decide.
That's right.
We don't have to listen to them.
Exactly. So personal choice is one of the big things that I talk to these boys about. You know, I wanted to ask you guys, I think you were like maybe 5 or 6 and you were just about 6 or 7. And we were having a discussion because I just finished watching some of the inspirational videos that I watched.
Yeah.
And one of the mantras that I used to tell you guys all the time is what, Carter?
Thoughts become actions.
And actions become reality.
Right. So thoughts become your actions, and your actions become reality.
Yeah.
Are there any instances that you guys have experienced in your life so far where you can say that that's true, like something that you thought of, and then eventually, like it came to be?
Well, hold on. This may not be really important, but I was thinking of getting a new tablet because me and Joseph couldn't really play a lot together because mine is so slow,
Right.
the one that I use, and now I'm getting enough money towards getting a new tablet.
Oh, okay. What are you doing to get that money?
Well, I used my birthday money. I saved up the money that I got from my MRI,
Right.
and I saved up the money from last year's birthday, and now I have $181.
Wow, that's pretty awesome, dude. Awesome. What about you?
So I actually just thought about it about a day ago, and I was thinking that I should get my own personal camera with the money that I'm gonna get.
Right.
Because like I wanted to get a YouTube channel. I thought about what it would be, what I would do.
Oh, okay. So you'd actually record videos kind of like this?
Yeah.
Got it.
Remember when we were doing mixed martial arts yesterday, how I told you about this MMA montage that you can upload on another channel?
Right.
Like I was thinking of that the whole entire day yesterday.
Got it.
And how we were like gonna set it up and all that.
Oh, okay. So inevitably you want to have a YouTube channel and you want to be able to share videos and stuff on the things that you want.
Yeah.
What about, okay, so now aside from monetary things, aside from being able to buy something, has there been an instance where you thought about something that you really wanted to do and then you didn't know when it was going to happen, but you thought, and we used to do that, right? We used to picture things in our minds. Remember when we used to go through those exercises together, and then after some period of time, it ended up coming true.
I can remember one thing. It was the annual Pilot Cup every year.
Yeah.
In 3rd grade,
Pilot Cup is their soccer tournament that they play in their school district.
So Pilot Cup in 3rd grade, I always wanted to go to it, but usually I would never bring the flyers to you.
Gotcha.
So then I thought about me playing in the Pilot Cup, me scoring like all the goals and all that.
Right.
And then in 4th grade, like I practiced and I kept practicing, so then I got a bit better.
Okay.
And
when you were going through and practicing and stuff, why were you practicing so hard?
because since there were 2 teams, 2 ranked teams, the gold and the silver.
Yeah.
Some of the best soccer players were on the gold, but
Gotcha.
also most of my friends were. So I wanted to play with my friends. So
On the same team.
Yeah, but you'd have to be very experienced.
Gotcha.
So
And we played organized soccer
yeah,
beforehand, right? But
Yeah.
we weren't consistent with it because
Yeah.
there were some other things that were going on.
I used the school nets. There are always these big nets. I used them to practice, and I used my friends
Okay.
since we'd play soccer every day. And in 5th grade, I finally got to go in the Pilot Cup.
Okay.
But my goal was to get the gold team.
Okay.
And so I played my 100% best in the practice scrimmages, and I eventually got into the gold team.
Awesome.
And
What about for you?
yeah, same for me. I wanted to be in the high strength team. I was able to practice enough to get into the high strength team, which was silver.
Right.
And we made it to the last game of the whole entire season. And even though we lost, I mean, at least we nearly made it to win the championship.
Wow, that's pretty awesome. And we got to hang out with Kobe Bryant too, right?
Yeah,
that was pretty
awesome.
awesome. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So, okay, so thoughts becoming actions and the actions becoming reality. That was a saying from Napoleon Hill. Okay, and he was a man who during his time he wrote many books, and he used to talk about motivational speaking and how he can help other people. One of the things that I like to do is to make these YouTube videos, but there's a reason for it. And it's because later on, when you get older, I want you guys to be able to come back to these videos and to see them. Maybe see this video and look at who you were at this point in your life, right? And then also the other videos that I put out there's going to be messages that you'll use later on in life because it kind of all correlates to what you're going to be going through. You know what I mean?
And it'll help us through later.
Exactly. And it gives you something to go back to later on when you get older. And maybe when I'm older and I don't know, maybe I lose all my teeth and I can't talk or something, right?
Yeah, you're gonna need those dentures.
Yeah, right.
No, we'll just have to take over.
Good idea. I like that. So, what's the one thing that I do regularly where it comes to some of the things that you guys have seen me do on the internet?
I've seen you work hard to build your website.
You're like
Building websites.
like your last company, Success Made Simple.
Mm-hmm.
Like you tried to. It wasn't a very successful company. So then you started this new company and more people are following you.
Right.
So like you keep pushing and pushing and pushing.
Right.
Yeah.
The thing with Success Made Simple, and the thing that's awesome about Success Made Simple is it's still there. I just haven't put energy into it, right?
Yeah.
Because your energy goes where your attention flows.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a very important thing to remember later too. Is wherever you pay your attention to, whatever you're focused on at that particular point, if you put your focus and intent on accomplishing something, your energy goes towards that. So it's kind of the same thing. It's your thoughts create your actions. So your actions are the actions that you take to attain a goal, right? And then your actions create your reality. So eventually, if you continue to be consistent and be regular and doing things like I'm doing when I'm putting up a video every Sunday, eventually things are going to catch on, right?
Yeah, like when we were in MMA and we always wanted the championship belt.
Right.
It came to us because we were being consistent in class.
That's right.
Yeah.
And isn't that one of the things that they talk about all the time is consistency?
Yeah.
Consistency, absolutely. How are you guys doing in school?
Well, even though we're not in school, this year was actually a really good year in school.
Yeah.
Yeah, for both of us
I
actually.
think for both of you, right?
Yeah, because of the grades were higher than last year.
Right.
They kept improving from the first semester, second, and third.
I remember one of my things in the report card was a 2, and then it was still a 2, but then in the last trimester it was a 4,
Okay.
that showed me that I could really push hard and make my grades go up.
And that's interesting that you bring that up. So when you were at a 2, what were you doing?
Well,
Or what weren't you doing?
on some assignments, I wouldn't write my name.
Right.
And so when I turned them in, she wouldn't know, my teacher wouldn't know who did that work.
Right.
So then usually she would toss them away.
Right.
And I never got the credit for it.
Got it.
So I forgot what that specific topic that I got the 2 on.
Right.
But when I kept writing
How did it make you feel when you found out that you had a 2?
I felt devastated. Like, I've never had a 2 in
Right.
my whole entire school life.
Okay.
And I couldn't believe that I ever got a 2.
Okay, so then what did you think at that point? What did you think that you needed to do?
Work harder, like make a mind checklist that I have everything that I have on the paper,
Got it.
including my name. That was
Okay.
the top part of the list.
Something as simple as your name, right?
Yeah.
So like in kindergarten, my teacher, she told me that you always look at the top of the paper first, and
Then you
write your-
scan to the bottom.
Yeah, scan to the bottom. Okay, so you made a mental checklist, and then from that point going forward for the rest of the year, you used to go through that checklist when you would finish your assignments, make sure you wrote your name and then all that stuff, right? And what ended up coming about?
At the end of the trimester, I got a 4 in that subject.
How did that feel?
I felt good. Like, I felt like someone had made me, like, you know how a soccer player, how I want to be a professional soccer player?
Right.
It felt like I finally became a professional soccer player.
But we're talking about school here, right?
Yeah, like
Okay.
you finally accomplished something that you really wanted to do.
Got it. So your thoughts were pretty low, right? It was at first when you saw that 2, you were like, oh, man, what am I gonna do? Like you said, I'd never gotten a 2 before. You didn't know what you were doing wrong until you figured out that it was because you were turning in the assignments, you were doing the work, but you didn't put your name on it, so you weren't being thorough, right? And you were rushing through it. And then you fixed it by your actions, and your actions created an end result, a reality, right? And we had a conversation that day. We talked about it. We said, in order for you to get a 4, this is what you gotta start doing, right? And you worked hard and you got to that point. So that's a story of accomplishment. And it goes to show that regardless of what you're dealing with in life, it doesn't matter how hard it seems like it is, if you're consistent and you're consistently doing things to get to an end result, you're gonna be successful at it. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if it's the biggest challenge that you're ever gonna face in the world. If you want to continue, like I'm doing, I'm building these businesses, right? If I continue to build the businesses, eventually something's going to stick, right?
Yeah.
And I feel good being able to help other people, to be able to give them motivation or inspiration that they need, you know. And the reason why I incorporated you two into this video is because I want everybody to understand that one of the topics I just talked about was integrity. Integrity is doing what you say that you're doing. And I don't know about you guys, but if you can tell by the way that they speak and by the way that they carry themselves, this is a consistent thing with me. Being a parent, you know, I took this parenting role on with the understanding that I was given a gift from God, and that gift was to teach these two how to be perfect gentlemen in the world. And that's another thing that I'll touch on right now. But to teach them how to be perfect gentlemen in the world and to take care of what they need to take care of in order to be successful. And having a positive mindset, having a very strong and powerful mindset of how to accomplish your goals is a part of that, because if you know how to do that and you know how to implement it, then eventually you're going to be successful. Okay, so speaking about being gentlemen, you know, we've talked about this on a few occasions, and you know, one of the things that I've talked to you guys about regularly is that when we go out to a restaurant, what are you supposed to do?
Hold open the door.
And why do you do that?
Because
Why do you do that?
Because if elders and they don't have anywhere to open the door from, because they're trying to roll the wheelchair,
Yeah.
and they're trying to eat out with their grandchildren or their daughter or
Right,
any
right,
of their
right.
children, we're gonna run in front of them and open the door for them so they can get through.
What if it's not an elderly person?
You just open the door for them to be polite, so then they can go through first, and
Exactly. Yeah.
you could just go behind them.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like
Okay.
being first.
You're being polite, right?
Yeah, and
Okay.
if it's a lady, like the saying, ladies first.
Exactly. Good point.
Yeah.
Good point. Okay, so now talking about ladies, eventually you two are going to be going on dates,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's a funny thing to think about.
Yeah.
But okay, so when you go on dates, let me ask you: when you're going on a date with the girl, what are you supposed to do? How do you conduct yourself as a gentleman?
Well, you want to make sure that you're trying to get over what they're trying to do. So if they're going to try and, like change, like say you're already married and you have a little baby, right?
Yeah.
Then if they're gonna go and they're gonna change the diaper of the baby, you can instead go in front and say, "Here, let me take care of that, and I can go ahead and do it."
Okay, so you jumped ahead to marriage. Let's get back to dating first.
Yeah.
In order for you to get into a relationship, a long-term relationship, like going and marrying somebody,
Yeah.
you have to build relationships with them. You
Yeah.
have to spend time with them and do things. So you're gonna go on dates.
Yeah.
What do you do on a date? Hold on, let me ask him. What do you do on a date? What's one thing that you do on a date? Just one.
One thing that you're gonna do on a date is like stay respectful, never lose your cool.
Cool. What about you?
One thing that I'll do is treat them to dinner, not let them pay for it.
That's very cool. All right. So what about you? What's another thing that you would do?
Well, if it's disrespectful, like if they're wearing hats or if they're wearing a coat and they feel like taking that stuff off because they think it's disrespectful, you can go up to them and take it off for them. So
Gotcha. Good. That's pretty good. What's another one?
When you're walking up to a table and you're asked to be seated, you pull out the chair for her to let her be seated first, and then you sit on the opposite side.
Awesome. You guys have any more?
Yeah, so if you're getting out of the car and you're in the driver's seat, you get out, right? You close the door. You go onto the other side and you open the door for them.
Awesome. And why do you do that stuff? Why do you guys think you're going to do all that stuff? Like, what's the purpose of doing all that? What do you think?
To make her feel like you're that she's dating a nice person and not this mean, cruel person.
Right. Yeah, good ideas. So being a gentleman, when you guys get older, I hope you do come back and watch these videos because I think that it's very important for you to remember that stuff and not necessarily from a point where you have to watch the video in order to remember that, but you live it, right? You do it every day. That's why when we walk into a restaurant, in order to be polite for somebody, you do hold the door open for them, even if they're capable of opening the door themselves, right? Because you want to show kind gestures.
Well, really just going into any place.
Anywhere, yeah. It doesn't have to be a restaurant, right? It's anywhere. Anywhere that you're going. As long as you can give to somebody, you're going to receive back, right? Yeah. So, awesome, guys. Well, thank you for talking today with me. How did you guys feel getting interviewed for the camera?
When my dad asked me to go into the video to do this interview, I was like all in. But this guy right here, he was shy and he was asking questions about what we'll do in the video, like, are we gonna do the intro? Are we gonna sit down on comfortable seats? Like all that. And he just,
I decided to come in because I thought like it might have been the only chance that I would have had to come into a video that my dad was doing, and there are going to be a lot more videos that he's going to do, and I didn't want to be left out of
left out.
Right. Awesome. Hey, you might want to tuck this too.
Okay.
It's a little stuffy in here for that kind of stuff.
Oh, you're going to put that in the blooper.
I might, yeah. It's like, choke me. Did you notice that you're going like this the whole time?
Yeah. Like usually when I'm saying singing on places that a long time, I'd usually
You get off. No, you just get fidgety.
I just fiddle with
You know what I do? I go like this a lot.
Yeah.
I go like that. It's just a nervous reaction. Like I'm not doing it on purpose. I just go like that. And then you just like you start staring and get all goofy eyed.
You're like.
Yeah, something like that.
Like when you guys are when that one time I had the sinus infection. You said I shouldn't go to school, and you guys were talking, you and
Right.
Joseph, and the whole time I was like this.
Yeah.
So another topic I wanted to touch on is communication. I think it's very important for a parent to have good communication skills with their kids. So what do you guys think about communication with us? How do you like the way that we interact?
I say that we are very lucky for the parents that we have, how they communicate with us, because like how you lived as a child and how other people have lived, their parents usually communicated with abusive
Yeah, like
words,
using
in abusive ways.
like using a wooden spoon to whack you, or
Yeah.
like you're
Yeah.
like you're
Like in order to teach them a lesson,
Right.
they would abuse them.
Right.
And we're very lucky because I know you might threaten us, like you'd say that you get a bell and whip us, and so then we stop doing it.
Right.
But mostly you just talk to us and how the situation goes and tell us other ways that we could deal with the situation.
Got it. So do you feel that it's better to talk about the situation and what the possible outcomes are rather than getting violent and hitting you with even my hand, right?
Yeah.
I mean that how do you feel that, how do you think that would feel if I was to be like that with you guys?
I feel like I want to live with another family.
Like I felt getting like slapped in the butt, like just playing around and stuff.
Yeah.
But I can imagine how much it's hurt, like 10 times more if you're actually trying.
If you're like really
If you're
trying to
actually
hit,
trying,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty
I
crazy.
can't imagine that.
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah, well, you know what? I think that we all learn lessons in life, and as you're growing up, I want you guys to continue to learn from the lessons that I'm teaching you. So when you become parents, that you can treat your kids with respect that way too, because we're not put on this earth as parents to dominate our kids. We're put on this earth to make you better
Teach
people.
them, yeah.
Yeah, to teach you to be better
And then
people.
that life lessons keep going on
And on for
throughout
generations.
the generations.
Yeah. So we're gonna wrap this up now, but one thing I'd like to do is to ask Joseph and Carter to give some advice to some of the parents whose kids are either becoming teenagers or who may have kids that are your age and maybe they're a little harder to handle. Whatever the case may be, what's some advice that you would give to a parent right now that's watching this with a kid that's going to be 11 years old?
So, kids with 11 years old like me, I would say, they'd be with the cool kids and everything, but usually just let them do their thing. If they become a bad person, that's where you draw the line. Like, if they go out and steal, that's where you draw the line.
Right.
But if they're not doing anything bad and they're just like
Acting like kids.
the sport, like the cool kids for sports,
Uh-huh.
and they're just playing instead of like doing bad stuff, then hey, it's fine. So you should probably just let your kids find their own friends, but when they just don't let them be the bad kid.
Okay.
Yeah, and don't tell them what friends they should have and what friends they should not. They should know whether it's a bad choice or a good choice.
Wow, that's pretty awesome. That's powerful. So allowing them to have the freedom of choice to choose their friends, but to understand the consequences of the people that they choose to put in their
Yeah,
lives.
and I mean, their parents, you guys are still gonna have to, tell them what a good friend is and what a bad friend is.
So the one thing that you can do, it's called diffuse. It's DEFUSE. Okay, and it's going to be an acronym in this case. The first letter D means do not argue. You don't argue with somebody because what that does is that stirs up their ego. Okay, and everybody wants to be right. Nobody wants to listen to hear. They want to listen to respond. So you don't argue. That's the first thing that you can do to diffuse a situation. Do not argue. Then the E stands for empathy. To empathize. You have to empathize with their feelings. Understand where they're coming from. Like really listen and say, what is it that's bugging you? Like why is what's going on bugging you? And then the F is to find out those facts. Listen to them and find out the facts of why they feel the way that they do. Because it's their feelings. They're entitled to those feelings. Right? And then the U is understand. So now they've given you the facts. You're not arguing, you're empathizing. You're like, okay, I want to hear what you're saying. I want to understand it. And then the F is to find out the facts, and there you understand. You understand where they're coming from, right? So that's the U, to understand where they're coming from. And then the S is to come up with a solution. You say, you know what, listen, I understand that you're feeling this way. What if we did it this way? Or what if we did it this way? Now you're offering them a solution. And then you end that interaction on a good note. That's the E in the end. You end the interaction on a good note. So it could be a phone call where somebody calls you and they're completely upset. They're pulling out their hair, they're going crazy, right? Use the word diffuse as an acronym. Do the things that I told you, and by the end of the time that you're on the phone call with them, they won't be upset anymore. If you get into an argument with a friend and you use the diffuse, just use it in your head. Like, don't go through and say, okay, don't argue, I'm not gonna argue with you, okay? I need to empathize with you, so I need to, like, don't do it that way. Just have a natural conversation the way that we're doing right now, but just follow what we're speaking about. And as a parent, I do this with you all the time. You just don't notice it. There's a way that I get you to stop being upset at something. I don't argue with you. I don't impose myself on you. I empathize with you. I'll give you a hug, or I'll tell you that I love you, or see what's wrong, right? And then I find out what's wrong. I find out why you're upset, find out why something happened, or why you may be upset, and then I come to an understanding, and then I create a solution, right? 9 times out of 10, when we're dealing with an issue that we have to fix, we find a solution to it, right?
Yeah.
And then we end it with finding a solution. It's like, okay, hey guys, we're gonna flip a coin to see who takes a shower first today, right?
Yeah.
And that's an awesome solution, because it's like, okay, there's equal chance that one of you guys is gonna go first, right?
Yeah.
But it's an easy solution to come up with. So those things that I try to teach you, that I instill into you guys, I want everybody out there to continue to do, or to start implementing with their kids. And if there was one word of advice that you can give them for a kid that may be your age, yeah, what do you think a piece of advice would be for them?
Well, I'm trying to think, like, what would 9-year-olds act like? I know they act like...
You should know you're a 9-year-old. I'm just saying,
I know, but
in this circumstance, all I want to know is, like, what's one thing that a 9-year-old would tell everybody that's out there, the parents that are watching this, that have a 9-year-old, that they may be giving them problems, that they don't understand why they're feeling the way that they feel, or maybe they don't understand how to talk to a 9-year-old. Like, what advice can you give them to teach them? Because it's important to hear it from somebody who's that age, right? I mean, I'm 37, and there's a certain way that I like to be heard, right? There's a certain way that I like people to communicate with me. And I tell people, hey, this is how I like to be communicated with. I want facts. I want very direct information. Give me the direct information, because you bore me with detail, okay? What would you tell people that are dealing with a 9-year-old that wants to play video games all day or whatever, like, but they want them to have a more active life, or they want them to do other things aside from all that? What would you say?
Well, I would say, like, if they want to play video games on a daily basis, like every single hour of the day, I would tell them that, you know, that they should read books, because that always helps them in education. Mm-hmm. Or they should go outside and play with their friends if they have some friends out in their neighborhood. Or their parents should go out with them and they could play outside too.
But why do you think that a kid would get upset with a parent who says that to them?
Well, I would think it'd make them upset because, you know, like they want to do what they want to do, and they don't want to be told what to do and what not to do.
Right. So then how would you like me to deal with you if you really wanted to do something and I was telling you, Carter, you can't do that?
Well, normally I just walk into my room,
Mm-hmm.
and like I'm really like, okay, at least I have this to do.
Okay.
Instead
So you'll find something else to do.
Yeah, find something else to do.
So what would be a compromise?
Oh.
What would be a good compromise to come up with something like that?
Well, look, what I do, I just go into the room and watch YouTube, and whenever I get a chance, I would go in and ask you if I could play Minecraft on the computer, because there's different stuff, like you can connect to different stuff with online people. Right,
but would a good compromise be, say, okay, if the parent that's watching this says, okay, a good compromise for them to talk to their kids about would be give them 30 minutes to play, and then after 30 minutes they absolutely have to shut it down. But you have to get an agreement on it, right? So it's kind of like, hey dude, 30 minutes you can play, and that's it.
Yeah, like, because yesterday when you were doing your meditation, you told me I could play for 30 minutes when you got out, you told me that we had to, or that you're done and that I had to get off.
Right.
And I got off.
Right, because we had come to an agreement,
yeah,
right?
come to an agreement.
Okay, so coming to an agreement with a kid that's your age would be a good way to maybe deflect or diffuse something that could potentially happen later.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Guys, awesome job. Thank you for talking to everybody out there, and I think maybe some of the parents are going to find this useful. So anyhow, thank you very much. Live with integrity. This is a big part of that. It's doing what you say and saying what you do. So when you see me talking about the boys and the way that I parent them, this is exactly what we're talking about. We have discussions like this, and I want to understand them. I put in the effort to understand them, and I'm very involved in their schooling, very involved in what they're doing in their life, because I think that you set the ground rules. You set the direction for them in where they're going to go in life. And so I thought it was very important to have this dialogue today, and I hope that you stayed all the way through to the end. And hopefully you can start implementing some of these things with your children. Sit down and have a conversation with them. Be present in the moment with them, because it's so important for you to understand where they're coming from as well. Anyhow, we'll talk soon. Live on purpose, live with integrity, and we'll see you soon. Take care.